Hi, this is Ms. Pizzone, and today we're going to be talking about understanding multiplying monomials. Alright, so what is 3 times 7? That's something we all should know. It's 21. But why? Think back to elementary school. Why is 3 times 7 21? Well, and think about what is multiplication. So remember, 3 times 7 can mean 3 7 times. One, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. And if you add 3 up 7 times, you get 21. So what did we do? We did repeated addition. So multiplication is just repeated addition. Another way of thinking about it is 7 added up 3 times, you get the same thing. Oops. All right. So when we multiply, we're just adding up a bunch of times. Alright, so if multiplication is repeated addition, does anyone remember when we did repeated multiplication and where that comes into play? So if we did multiplication a bunch of times by the same thing, think about when you saw that. Those were exponents. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 3 to the 5th. Okay. So when you have multiplication is repeated addition, repeated multiplication is your exponents. Okay. And again, if you need time to write this, it's a video, pause the video and write this down. When we talk about repeated multiplication, a bunch of stuff multiplied together, it's exponents. Right? Alright, so for example, I just did those 3s. Think about how many 3s do you see and how do we write that? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So that'll be 3 to the 7th. Now, if we throw x's in here, what do you think x to the 5th times x to the 7th is? I'm sure a lot of you're remembering it's x to the 12th. But why is it x to the 12th? Well, what does x to the 5th mean? It means 5 x's. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There's 5 of those. And then 7 more. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So altogether, how many x's are being multiplied? 12 of them. So when we have our repeated multiplication, we have exponents and we can just add them together. Makes life a lot faster. Alright, so now here's an issue that comes up a lot in school where students confuse these. X plus x. Well, think about it. If I have a marker plus a marker, what do I have? 2 markers, 2x. Because remember, when you're adding, it's really multiplication, right? 2 times x is repeated addition. We're multiplying 2 times x, I'm adding the x twice. Versus multiplication. What do we do when we multiply? That has to do with exponents. Repeated multiplication, exponents. Now, what are the exponents for x's when you don't see one? Think about how many are there? There's that invisible 1. So x times x is x squared. This is really, really, really important. A lot of students confuse these. x plus x is 2x, but x times x is x squared. Adding, we're adding our coefficients, 1 and 1 is 2. Multiplying, we're adding our exponents. X times x is x squared. 1 plus 1 is 2. Right? So think about this, really make sure that you have this down because a lot of students reverse these a lot. Alright, so now let's move on to a little bit more difficult ones. Alright, so we talked about multiplying our x's together, so we have our x to the 9 and x to the second, but think about, what do you think we're doing here? Students give me crazy answers all the time. So think about, what's the operation? Is that a plus, a minus, dividing, multiplying? What is that dot? That is multiplication. So we are multiplying 3 times 12. 3 times 12 is 36. Now, we are multiplying the x's. And again, what is repeated multiplication? Adding our exponents. Yes, we are adding, but that's because we're multiplying x's together. You multiply your x's, we add our exponents. So that's an 11. Right? Multiplication, we multiply our coefficients. When you multiply x's, you add your exponents. So 36x to the 11. Alright, now I want you to try some on your own. So I want you to pause your video, write the problems down, and try these on your own. Alright, so you should be back now. You better have paused it. 5x to the 8th times 2x to the 9th. So remember, we are multiplying. So 5 times 2 is 10. And what do we do to exponents when we multiply? We add them. Repeated multiplication. We add those exponents. Number 6. Again, same idea. We're multiplying, so we multiply our coefficients. 10 times 5 is 50. 6 and 3, we add them together, and we get 9. Alright, 8 is a little harder. Now, notice, I don't have a dot for this one, I have parentheses. Is there a difference between multiplication of the dot and parentheses? There is not. When parentheses are touching like this, that means multiplication. This minus is not subtraction, it is a negative. Right? This is a negative 2. Right? So just like before, the touching parentheses means we're multiplying. So 5 times negative 2, negative 10. Now a little harder, we have x's and y's. So check out our x's. So I have x squared and x. Well, think about how many x's are multiplying if we have x squared and x. We have 2, and there's just 1 there, that's 3. Remember, there's that invisible 1 for the exponent. When you have nothing, no exponent, it's really a 1. And then we have y to the 3rd and y to the 4th. 3 plus 4 is 7. And we're done. Alright. Back to my dot. Again, just pay attention to what you're doing. Circle, highlight, whatever you have to help you keep track of these, because it's hard. There's a lot of letters and numbers here. Right? So start with your coefficients. The numbers in front, 8 times 7 is 56. X. We have x to the 6th and x to the 9th. Repeated multiplication, so we add our exponents. 6 and 9 is 15. And then we have our y's, y2 and y. Again, just like over there, we have 2 y's multiplying here, 1 more over here, that gives us a total of 3 y's multiplying. Okay? Again, if this is confusing, pause the video, go back, try them again. Alright, so now we're going to go on to something a little harder. Alright, so now notice we have multiple exponents in the problem. Think about what do I keep saying exponents are? It's repeated multiplication. So if I have 3x to the 5th squared, what does this mean to us? It means I'm multiplying 3x to the 5th times itself twice, because I have two things being multiplied. So I'm going to rewrite this as 3x to the 5th times 3x to the 5th. My repeated multiplication are those two. Now let's do what we just did. 3 times 3 is 9. X, 5 and 5 is 10. Now some of you may see a trick, another way of doing it. If we look at it like this is 3 squared. 3 to the 2nd power is 9. And then notice 5 and 2, they end up just multiplying together. So 5 times 2 is 10. Alright, I want you to pause the video and I want you to try 10, 11, and 12 on your own. Alright, so for this one, I like writing it out. I think it's less confusing, you make less mistakes, especially with these exponents. So I'm going to write 2x to the 7 out. How many times? 3 times. So we have 2x to the 7 times 2x to the 7 times 2x to the 7. It's a little more straightforward. Yes, you can't do that every time. If I gave you 2x to the 7 to the 23rd, you don't want to do that. That's way too crazy. But with smaller numbers like this, no big deal. So again, start with it's multiplication. We are multiplying 2 times 2 times 2. 2 times 2 is 4. 2 one more time is 8. And then we have our 7. Remember, repeated multiplication, we add our exponents. 7 plus 7 plus 7 is 21. And again, 7 times 3 is 21. Alright, number 11 is one that messes with students a lot. Again, another reason I like writing it out. I see a lot of students tell me, this is 2x to the 3rd. That is wrong. It is not 2x to the 3rd. And that's why writing it out is really helpful. Don't forget that number in front is also being raised to the exponent. 2 to the 3rd. So 2x times 2x times 2x. 2 times 2 times 2, we just did, is 8. And how many x's are being multiplied? 1, 2, 3. Put those little ones in if it helps. Alright, last one, a little harder. So notice 4x cubed does not have an exponent out here. It's just 4x cubed. 5x to the 2nd power, on the other hand, does have it. So we have to use multiple steps here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to write 4x cubed out. And then I have 5x squared. So 5x, how many times? 2 times. 5x and then 5x, because there's 2 of them for that outside exponent. Now I can multiply all this together. Let's see, 4 times 5 is 20, times 5 is 100, or you could do 25 times 4. So 100, and then how many x's are multiplying? We have 3, 4, and 5. And we are all set. Hope you were able to follow. If not, it's a video. Go through, watch it a bunch more times. Have a great day.